Good morning, children. Today we are going to take chapter number 2 for class 8. This is the chapter of biology. Chapter name is reproduction in plants. So students, in this chapter only we are going to focus how reproduction occurs in plants. So before starting the chapter, as the name of the chapter is reproduction in plant, the first question arises here: what is reproduction? So what is reproduction? Reproduction, that is, when any living organism is capable of producing the young ones of their own kind, that process is called reproduction. Simply we can say reproduction is the process of producing young ones of their own kind. Okay, when any organism is able to produce the young one of their own kind, this ability of that organism is called reproduction. So simple definition, if we have to write, we can write living organisms produce young ones of their own kind. This ability to produce new individual is known as reproduction. Or living organisms produce individuals of their own kind for the survival of their species. This is also known as reproduction. If now we are going to discuss about the modes of reproduction. So modes of reproductions are of two types. First is the asexual reproduction and second is the sexual reproduction. So first in this lecture we are going to take only the asexual reproduction, and this topic we are going to take it later. So first topic is asexual. So what is asexual reproduction? As the name is A and then sexual. So A means when there is only one parent involved in the reproduction, and sexual means when both the parents are involved in the reproduction. So as the name is asexual, it means no seed formation takes place in asexual reproduction. There is no seed formation in asexual reproduction. Further we will study how the reproduction occur, but there is no formation of seed. Second is new individual or the offspring that are formed are of like their parents. They are identical. So they are also called as clones. The individual, the new individual, the new offspring, the new young one that is going to formed, that will be like their parents, and that is called as clone. There is no difference between the parents and the offspring. So that time they are called as clone, and it occurs only in case of asexual reproduction. The third point we can take in that only one parent is involved. No fusion of male or female sex organs occurred in case of asexual reproduction. So 3 points we have discussed. In asexual reproduction, when only one parent is involved, no fusion of male and female sex cells occurs. New individual that is formed that is same like their parents. And the third point is no seed formation takes place in asexual reproduction. Now here the question arises, then what are the ways how the plants are able to reproduce by the process of asexual reproduction? Now the first topic that we are going to take this is types of asexual reproduction. Now the asexual reproduction, it is of mainly 5 types. Okay, the first is the binary fission, second is budding, third is fragmentation, the fourth one is spore formation, and the fifth one is vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction, again we are going to divide into two parts, that is natural vegetative reproduction and the second one is artificial vegetative reproduction. Okay, so first we are going to take what is binary fission. Okay, now as the name is binary fission, okay, what does it mean? So binary fission means bi means two and fission means breaking of something into two parts. Okay, so binary fission means when the cell is capable of breaking into two parts, that is called binary. Binary means two. So binary fission is a simple process when any organism is able to split into two parts. Okay, and both the parts are called as daughter cell. So in binary fission, suppose we have taken this cell, it mainly occur in unicellular organisms. Okay, just like amoeba. suppose this is the cell, it contains a nucleus, and that nucleus is able to divide into two parts. Then the cell is able to form a wall in between, and then the cell is able to divide it into two different cells. Okay, so here a single cell is able to divide into two cells. So that process in which the cell is capable of dividing into two parts, that is called binary fission. Okay, so here the word is binary, so it has divided into two parts. The second term that we are going to use is multiple fission. Multiple means many. So mainly when the cell is able to form, instead of forming only two cells, when the cell is able to form 4 daughter cells. So at that time the fission is called as multiple fission. Okay, so in this multiple fission, just like we can give you the example, chlamydomonas. Okay, chlamydomonas is the simple example in which one cell divided into 4 daughter cell, and that process is called multiple fission. The second process that I have told you, that first is the binary fission, second is the budding. Now budding, it is the process in which the parent cell is on the parent cell a formation of bud arises. On the parent cell only there is a formation of a bud. Now the parent cell, this is a simple cell. That cell contains cytoplasm, nucleus, cell wall, vacuole. Now it has the nucleus. Now what happens in these type of cells? The cell is able to produce a bud on any part of the cell wall. Now slowly the nucleus is able to divide into two parts. So one part will remain in the parent cell and the another part will go into the daughter bud. So that bud is able to detach. When that bud is able to detach, that single bud is able to form a new cell. Okay, so one is the parent and another is the daughter cell. So in your book also the diagrams they have given, that is a single cell, and here the bud is forming and the nucleus is dividing into two parts, and the new cell that is arise, that is a daughter yeast. So budding is the formation of bud, and mainly it occurs in yeast cell. Okay, the third process that we are going to take is fragmentation. Fragmentation is fragments, when the cell is capable of making small fragments. Okay, simple example we can take Spirogyra. Now what is that Spirogyra? It is simply a ribbon like cell. Okay, when we divide this ribbon like cell into different parts, each part is able to form a new organism. It means small fragments are formed, and these small fragments are able to produce a new daughter cell. So that process is called fragmentation. The fourth process is spore formation. Now the spore formation, as it is already given in your book also, spore formation. Now what happens in spore formation? This type of processes mainly occur in example is Rhizopus, but we can say the mosses or the ferns. Mainly that process occur in mosses and ferns. Now what happens? The plant is able to form small structure that is called sporangia. As the name is spore formation, so here is the formation of sporangia. Now what is that sporangia? It contains small pores inside that. Now that is a covering outside, is the covering of sporangia. Whenever it gets the optimum temperature, that wall bursts and all the spores are able to fall outside. Now each spore is capable of forming a new plant. Okay, so because the spores are involved, they are coming out from sporangia. So that type of reproduction is called as spore formation. Mainly it occurs in mosses and ferns. Okay, now the fifth type of reproduction that we are going to take is vegetative reproduction. So as I told you, vegetative reproduction is of two types, artificial and natural and artificial. So in natural reproduction, natural means when the plants are able to form a new plant naturally. Okay, when man is not helping the plant to form a new plant, naturally the plants are growing. So simply natural process, how the vegetative reproduction is occurring, reproduction by stem, when seeds are not involved but the stem of the plant is able to form a new plant, when the leaf of a plant is able to form a new plant, when the roots of the plants are able to form a new plant. So that is a vegetative, natural vegetative reproduction. Okay, now there is one word that is called as propagules. Propagules. Now what is that propagules? As I told you, stem, leaf, root. These parts are able to produce a new plant. So these parts we can call them as a propagule. Okay, so these propagules, they are able to form a new plant. Now first we are going to take how the reproduction occurred by stem. Okay, now children, as we have we can see in our houses also, we can see simple potatoes are available in our houses. So what is potato? That is a underground stem. So we can see a small buds present on that potato. If I am going to put that potato in the soil, after some time these buds are able to produce a new plant. So how the reproduction is occurring that plant? That is a stem, and that stem is only able to form a new plant. So what is that? That is a vegetative reproduction. Now if we take the example of ginger, onion, grass, mint, they all are the examples of vegetative reproduction that is occurring in different propagules, means by the stem, by the leaf, or by the roots. Now in your book also they have given us the example. This is a ginger. Okay, now how the ginger is able to form a new plant? As in that ginger, as we know, we can see a new plant is forming out from that ginger, because that part of the ginger that we have put inside the soil, it contains a axillary bud. Now that axillary bud is able to form a new aerial shoots. Okay, so that activity you can perform at your home also. Take a ginger that is having an axillary bud and just keep them inside the soil. After 10 to 12 days, you will see that a small new plant is able to form from that ginger. So the ginger has nodes and internodes, and the nodes carry thin and dry brown papery scaly leaf. Okay, so in this axillary buds grow out from the nodes and produce a new plant. Is that clear? Now similarly I have given you the example of potato. So that potato also contains axillary buds. So these buds, they are able to produce a new shoot. That also you can do at your home. These buds are also called as eyes of the potato. Now just take that potato and keep that take one pot, and keep that pot in a shady place, and put that potato inside the soil, sprinkle some water, and observe it after 7 to 8 days. Now you can see a small green color bud grows into a new plant. So that is also a type of vegetative reproduction that is occurring in plants. Okay, now the third example that I had given you, that is a onion. Now in onion also we know that onion contains many scaly leaves. Okay, so that scaly leaves also, if we put the onion inside the moist soil and every day we sprinkle some water on that, after 8 to 10 days you will see a small axillary bud coming out from the onion. Okay, so that onion is also able to form a new plant. Okay, the root will develop and the fleshy scaly leaves will start forming on the upper part of the onion. So how it is occurring? It is occurring only because of we have not used a seed, we have used a stem of that plant. So that is, these are the simple examples that we can use to show that vegetative reproduction occur in plants by stem. Now the second topic is reproduction by leaf. So for children, this is a simple example of bryophyllum. What is this bryophyllum? You can see the leaves. Now these leaves, you can see that structure. Already you have that diagram in your book. So on the sides of the leaves, you can see the small leaves are arising. Now these leaves, when they shed from that leaf, these small leaves are able to form a new plant again. So here the leaves are involved in the reproduction. So that type of reproduction is called as reproduction, vegetative reproduction by leaves. Okay, so that activity also you can perform at your home. That is activity is already given in your book also, to grow a bryophyllum by vegetative reproduction. So simply you have to take you have to take a leaf. Either you can take the small leaves, or either you cut a leaf into bits, and each containing growing into adventitious bud. Now these bits of flower bits in a flower pot and cover them under a moist soil, keeping them emerging bud just projecting out from the surface. You will see the leaves are able to form different new leaves. So that is also a vegetative reproduction by leaves. The third type that we are going to take is the reproduction by roots. So in this we can take the example of sweet potato. Okay, other than that, asparagus and carrot we can take the example. Now what happen in that, as the plant roots, the roots, they contain a large amount of food in them, and the single root is capable of forming a new plant. Okay, if we take the example of carrot is a taproot. Okay, and it is biennial, as I think you all know the meaning of biennial. Biennial means two. By, again the meaning of bi means two. So what they do, the roots grow vegetatively in the first year and they store food. In the following year, the stem produces flowers and seeds which die by the end of second year. But still buds are there. Buds are able to produce at the base of the old stem just above the taproot, and they are meant for vegetative propagation. So these roots, they are again capable of, you can see these roots, they are again capable of forming a new plant. If we take an example of grass, so a grass, as we know, grass contain the nodes and internodes. So if we put that grass down into the soil, that part is again able to perform a new shoot. Again we put the part into the soil, again that part is able to produce a new plant. So what is happening? If it is working on the soil only, and we have put that part inside the soil, and these shoots, okay, new grass shoots are arising from the nodes. So a vegetative reproduction, it can be occurred with the help of roots. Now if we take, now we have discussed the four type of asexual reproduction. These are binary fission, budding, fragmentation, spore formation, and vegetative reproduction. In vegetative reproduction only we had discussed the natural reproduction today. Artificial reproduction we are going to take in our next lecture. So in natural vegetative reproduction we have discussed about reproduction in stem, reproduction by leaf, reproduction by roots. So here the question arises, what are the advantages of vegetative reproduction? So what are the advantages? Now children, if we take a seed and we put the seed inside the soil, it will take too much time to grow. But when we are taking a small branch of any plant, if we are taking any root, if we are taking any stem, so it will take a less time. Okay, so reproduction by vegetative parts take place in a short time. So that is the advantages. New plants that are produced, they spread very fast in a small area. So that is why the farmer, they prefer the vegetative reproduction. It is surer method of propagation. As we know, the growing plant is growing. The new plant is they are able to grow very fast. So the farmers are also sure that when we are going to grow the plant by vegetative method, that method will give us new plant surely. And the fourth point is, all the good characters of mother plant are retained by the daughter plant. Okay, suppose we are growing strawberries, and strawberries that we have that are of good quality, and those strawberries again and again we want the same type of strawberries. So we have put that plant inside the soil. So that mother plant is, when we have put inside the soil, the daughter plants that will arise, that are of the same type. Okay, the quality will be same. So that is, these are the advantages that the farmers prefer. Next is the disadvantages of vegetative reproduction. In vegetative reproduction, the disadvantage is that if the plant is affected by any genetical problem. So the same if any disease is spread in the farm, same type of disease will be occurred in the complete plants that we have grown in the soil. Second is, if as we have taken the example of spore formation, so when the spores are falling down, they are falling at one place, so the daughter cell that are growing, they are not getting proper space for grow, they are restricted to a particular area, and then the plants, they are having the competition for their resources. So sometime it happens that the plants are not able to grow properly. So these are the two disadvantages and advantages we have discussed in this lecture. So next class we are going to take the artificial vegetative propagation. So please read the chapter carefully. Thank you, children.